Hi, this is How to Get That Demo Right 3. This is basically about promotion, although it might vary a little bit on the way through. We'll see what happens. But there's many ways for you to, as an artiste, seek ways to get promotion. I mean, you can go down for adverts in the paper, you can pay for adverts on the radio, you can pay for anything. People out there will all take your money. But there's an awful lot of stuff you can do that doesn't cost you any money. You just need to think about it and get together and sort it out. Okay, so let's then that you've done some demos and you want to get some gigs. Well, I'll talk about that, but then this will go on from there, as I say. But just talking about gigs and stuff, I would suggest that not a bad approach for getting a gig with a venue is just to, obviously you've got to get your CD. Probably best to put it on a CD because most people have CD players, so they'll be able to hear it. And do that thing like I've suggested to you, perhaps, where you've got the first track on your CD is like a compilation in 3 minutes of the 3 demo songs that you have that are later in full. So track 1 is a 3 minute, then you've got tracks 2, 3 and 4, which are the full versions, but the first track is a 3 minute thing. And tell people that. So look, we put like a mix of the 3. They're in full on there. Please have a listen to them, but if you don't have time for that, just have a listen to the first one and you'll get a very good sense of us within a very short space of time. Okay, and perhaps even leave the CD with them. Just drop into the meet them, see if you can, because a lot of times I guess you'll go there and the guy, the owner, whoever's the guy who decides whether or not you can have a gig, they might not be there. So just say, look, I'd like to leave this, please give it to whoever, you know, might be in a position to give us a booking. I'd be very grateful if you'd kindly hand that over to them, and we'll pop back in a few days and pick it up if that's all right with you. And that's a good plan, I suggest to you, because you get to go back a second time. And during that time, if somebody does listen to the CD and they think, cool, I quite like these guys, I might give these a booking, they're going to expect you to turn up. And when you do turn up, it might be, oh, that band's here, you know, oh, I like you guys, yeah, can I work with you? That kind of. So it gives you a second visit. But always remember that you only get one chance to make a first impression. You can only ever do that once in anything you ever do. Well, anything you ever do in your life, you get one chance to make a first impression. So, you know, just try and be prepared and give it your best shot. Okay, so let's talk about. I mentioned about local radio and local newspapers and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you can get access to these guys for nothing. You know, you just need something that's a little bit newsworthy to happen around what you're doing, and that they might well feel that they're going to give you some exposure either in the paper or on the radio. So, and there is a phrase by, I think it came from Max Clifford, actually, you know, the PR guy, who basically said there's no such thing as bad PR. Any kind of PR is good because it's getting you out there and getting your name out there. Just look at Freddie Starr. Do you remember that thing, Freddie Starr Ate My Hamster? Which was a great bit of PR, wasn't it? Well, Freddie Starr's actually vegetarian, but there you go, that's another thing, isn't it? So there's no such thing as bad PR. So let's say that you want to go and you hawk your CD around and you do whatever process you do, whatever you think is best is best there. I mean, these things I'm chucking at you, please take as much notice as you think they're worthy of. But if you do get a gig and you're offered a gig, it'd be a good idea to have something a bit more than just a verbal agreement with them, so that if there is a dispute of any kind, or if something goes wrong for any reason, you can look back at this kind of thing that you've both agreed in writing, I'm suggesting, that you can say, well, actually, look, it does say here that, you know, we're entitled to this, or you're entitled to that, so, you know, that was the agreement we made. And just in case also that if there's a bit of more of a serious dispute, because it does happen, and it needs to be arbitrated, you know, sort of settled by a third party, then you can use that rather than say, well, he said this and I said that. No, I didn't. Yes, I did. You get all that kind of thing. Whereas if it's written down and you've both agreed to it and perhaps even signed it, it does give you a bit more of a concrete thing. If you're going to do that, and I'm going to suggest to you that you ought to really consider that, an easy way to get hold of like a gig contract is obviously a lot of venues actually do their own, in the sense, or an agency that you might work through to get you those gigs. They'll have their own contracts and which they'll offer you. I'm going to, but if that doesn't happen, you can do them yourselves. Now, I would also recommend that if perhaps, especially if you're an ensemble, there may be 2, 3, 4, 5 of you. It's a good idea, I would suggest, that one of you at least joins the musicians union. Okay. Now, once you're a member of the musicians union, which is not a great deal of money, it's like £1 a week or something, but you have their protection, you've got all their might, if you like, from a legal standpoint behind you. Okay, and they can also offer you templates, blank, you know, simple blank engagement contracts that you can use, and just go to the venue and say, oh, do you mind if we do? They probably won't mind. These guys are used to doing that. They've got contracts for all the stuff that they buy for their business. They're used to doing that. It's not something that they would frown on. And if they do, maybe you just think, do we really want to play there? But anyway, that's the thing. So think about going to the Musicians Union, and they will give you free It's free. It doesn't cost you anything apart from the membership. They'll give you free templates of a gig. I'm going to put a box down the side and in the description below detailing these, but I'll just run through them verbally for you. What should be on that agreement? What kind of things should you be specifying on there? The date of the gig, perhaps a number of the agreement, like a reference number, the venue address, including the postcode, the fees that are going to be payable to you as the gig, so how much money they're going to pay you, and the terms of payment. Are they paying you in cash? Are they paying you in a cheque? Or have you got to send them? You've got to write an invoice out and wait 7, 14 or 28 days for your money. What time are you supposed to arrive at the venue? What time do you need to be sound checked and have all your stuff set up by? What performance times are there? How many performances will you do? Are you expected to do two 45-minute sets, and what times do they start? Roughly, obviously there's a bit of leeway there, and the more leeway you can offer people, the more chance they've got of asking you back. So performance times, dress code. I mean, if they're expecting you not to come up, I won't go into what you might wear. I won't do that, but a dress code might be relevant. For example, especially if you're out there, playing dinner dances and stuff like that, they might expect you to wear at least a tie, perhaps even a black tie if it's a black tie event. But I think, to be honest, I mean, in depending on how much money somebody might pay you for £200-300, I'd wear a chicken suit, quite frankly. But anyway, I won't go into that. So another thing you might want to have specified on the agreement is the stage size. How big a stage do you need for your guys? You need to have that down. It's nothing worse than turning up and saying, "No, we did tell you that we needed a stage 15 feet wide, and this one's only 10 feet wide. We can't even get the drum kit on there." That kind of thing. So the stage size, the electricity power that needs to be provided to you. Okay, and have a think about that, and especially if you've got a lighting rig that you're taking with you, how many amps is that going to be pulling? So you need to make sure that the venue are going to give you enough juice, if you like, electricity wise, for you to be able to perform your whatever it is that you do. Another thing that you might want to put on the contract is what they call a rider. These are sometimes the best things. Could be a bottle of Jack Daniels, or a crate of Budweiser beers, or cucumber sandwiches, whatever it might be. So that's the rider. That's my next door. I don't know. I haven't seen his wife next door for a few days. I'm a bit worried. I think he might be bricking her up in the. Anyway, I won't go there. But and also the last thing perhaps is the cancellation provision. There's nothing worse than you're 4 weeks away from a gig that you've been waiting for ages. You're really looking forward to it. Then you get a phone call, a letter, or whatever saying, "Oh, sorry, we're cancelling it." So a lot of especially agencies, will have what they call a cancellation fee. So normally, if the cancellation is by the venue and it's within 30 days of when the gig is due, I mean, you might have turned down another gig for that very same night last week. "Oh, I've turned down a gig last week for that blooming night, and now you're cancelling on us. Oh, crikey, I could have taken that gig." So maybe think about having a cancellation provision. But like I say, I'll list these things and bung them in the description. It might be some use to you. Okay, so what else? Other things can you get together as a promotion thing for the band? Obviously, perhaps you ought to think that most venues and record companies, if you're going to go down that route kind of thing, they will expect you to do this as well. But it's also handy for giving out to local newspapers, local radio, do a biography of the band. What interesting things can you come up with about members of the band, what you've done in the past, or anything that's remotely relevant and interesting, especially, and perhaps even newsworthy to get you out there? So a biography, that's an important thing. Photographs, get photos of you as a group together, as perhaps even individual photographs, and certainly photographs of you performing at a gig, and especially if you've had lights there, because they look good, don't they? Cool, this is us at a gig. Oh, I like all that, that kind of thing. So that's well worth getting together. So like I said, there's people out there who will help you promote you for a fee. They'll all take your money. But you can do a lot of it yourself. Print yourself up some flyers, maybe, perhaps even a newsletter. Do regular updates to keep your fans, if you like, in regular contact with what you're doing. They'll appreciate it, and certainly if you things start happening for you, you develop some sort of momentum for the band, and we're getting more people signing up to our database, and keep a database of everybody that you ever come across. If you can get there, think of ways of getting there, preferably the name if you can, but some people might not want to disclose that, but most people will be quite happy to disclose an email address to you. So build up as many of those as you can. That's a good plan, I would suggest to you. So you can do the flyers and the newsletters. Perhaps even when you do a gig, what a lot of bands do, or I say a lot, but what some bands do, some of the more successful ones especially, is they'll have a table at the gig, you know, like a table, and on that table, which is normally run by one of the girlfriends or the roadie or someone, you know, in the sort of wider sort of field, if you like, of people that are involved with the band, and on that table they've got CDs, photographs, these newsletters, flyers, the whole thing is there, and it looks great, and because you never know who's going to be watching you, and if there's a record company guy in the audience because he's heard a whisper that, oh, you're not going to check that band out, they're good, they don't want you to know they're there. Well, they might do, but it's very unlikely. A lot of times they don't want you to know. They'll just be some guy. Do you know everybody in this audience that you're performing in front? Do you know all of them? It's very likely. I'll suggest to you that every single time you're out there doing your thing, always be at your best, both in the way you look, the way you conduct yourself, and everything you do. Having a little table there, you know, with all your stuff on it, a record company will be quite impressed with that, because they'll realise that you realise that there's a commercial world out there, and that you need to promote yourselves. They will find that quite appealing, and that will tick one of their boxes. So maybe set up a table. I'm just looking at the time, so I'm going to run through now and talk about jam donuts. All right, I'm just throwing this one out there, and this is something I used to say to bands at the end of a session when we would finish their stuff, and they would say, "Oh, Bob, what's the best way of us going about promoting ourselves?" You know, so I'm just going to throw this one out at you. So, jam donuts. So I'm going to talk about another person. So another person that you're after getting their interest. Okay, it could be a radio station, it could be a newspaper, or it could be a record company or a publishing company. Here's a way that you could think. This is just an idea. I'm trying to suggest to you that think outside of the box, come at it from a different angle. Okay, so on a Friday of a certain week, this particular person that you're trying to get interest from, they receive a small white box, and inside this small white box, 11 o'clock on a Friday morning. Okay, so inside this small one, it says to go with your coffee. And so they open up the box. Perhaps it's delivered by, you know, one of those DHL or Securicor, person to person. I mean, it's only about 10, 12 quid for that. So it might be worth you not drinking so much beer, perhaps, and putting some money into that. Sorry to say that, but it might be worth you doing. 11 o'clock on the Friday, this person opens up this box and there's 2 jam donuts in there. Enjoy with your coffee. Very nice. That's a bit weird, right? On the next Friday, same thing happens. Delivered, person to person, the guy signs it. It's another couple of jam donuts in a white box. Please enjoy with your coffee. This happens for like 3, 4, 5 weeks, as long as you can afford to keep that going. Preferably 4 or 5 weeks, I would suggest. Week 6 at 11 o'clock. So this person is going to be thinking, oh, it's Friday tomorrow now. Oh, I'll get my jam donuts at 11 o'clock. Well, I don't know who's sending them to me, but somebody obviously is. I'll get another pair of jam donuts tomorrow, kind of thing. But they don't arrive. So at 11 o'clock that Friday morning, there's no jam donuts, but there's a phone call to the office. Oh, Stevie, there's a phone call for you. It said it's the jam donut person's on the phone. Does that make sense? Give me that phone. I know this has happened. Okay, I'm not going to say any more than that, but this does work, and trust me, I know this works from experience. Okay, give me that blooming phone. Hello, can I help you? Yeah, I've been sending you jam donuts. Yeah, well, what are you up to? Look, I'd really want to come and talk to you. I've got a really good thing going here. I've got a band going. We've got some great things happening, and I just really would like to have half an hour to have a chat with you, because we really would like your help. Yeah, I'd love to speak to you. Thank you very much for the jam donuts, by the way. They're really nice. Come and see me. How about Wednesday, 3 o'clock? Can you make that? Great. Yeah, I look forward to it. Ta-da. Well done, by the way. Thank you very much. Okay, see you. Bye. That kind of thing. All right. So I'm just putting that one out at you. It's just a suggestion. See how you go. But the point of that, I think, more so is the fact that try and approach it from a different point of view, because you need to be, I'm sorry to point at you, but you need to try and get yourself remembered, get yourself noticed out there. And like I say, you've only got this one chance to make a first impression. You can't do it second time. You can't repair if it didn't go too well. You can't repair that first impression. So be on your best at all times. And I wish you all the very best in everything you do. Give it your best shot. And thank you very much for listening. And I just hope that that's some help, even if it's only help to one person who's heard this, and they maybe do something slightly differently because of what they've heard there, and think, oh, that's not a bad idea. I might try some of that. And because of them changing how they might have done it, they might go about doing things, they end up with a better result for it. That will make me really happy, and then that's enough for me. I'll be well happy with that. Thank you so much for listening, and I wish you all the best. Bless you all, and good luck.